Morning. Race day. It's Sunday, April 24th, the day of the Check Your Legs road race. This is my first race of the season. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I got the bike in back. I got all my kit all set up. It's about 8:40 in the morning. The race is at 11. I'm about an hour's drive from the race. It's the most local race to me. It's kind of like my home race. And let's be fair, I am not a racer. I'm a category 5, which means I'm pretty much garbage. I'm pretty much like the lowest category you can be. I'm trying to make myself better every year. But to be honest, like, this is just for me trying to rekindle the old days when I used to be a competitor, and just have some fun with it. It's going to be a little chilly. It was 26 degrees when I woke up this morning, but it's going to be up to about 50, 45 or 50 by race time, so hopefully that'll work out. It's going to take a little bit of a bundling operation, but we'll make it work. And I probably won't be able to shoot too much video today, but I will do my best to, well, we'll see. I might not be able to do any, or I might be doing a bunch, but either way, I'm excited. I'm nervous just because I get nervous before any kind of competition. I get nervous before the games that I coach for soccer. You know, I always got nervous when I was a player. Just nervous energy. But as soon as it starts, all that goes away and you just focus on the task at hand. So it's a relatively small race. It's a little bit of a shame because the organization is good. I mean, it's my local club and they do a nice little job. It's a nice little course. It's a nice race. And it's a little bit of a shame that we are kind of in the boonies. We get people from Syracuse and Binghamton and a couple from Albany, but we're definitely not a metropolis. You know, we don't have the draw. It's like 3 hours or 3.5 hours, 3 hours from New York City if someone was to come up for a race. So not impossible, but unlikely. So I think there's like 70 people total from the registration last night for all categories. 20 in the Cat 5, like 19 in the Cat 4, and only a handful in the Cat 1, 2, 3 categories. So anyway, I'm gonna get this drive on, and I'll try to post some updates as we go. Well, that's race day. I didn't get any real footage. I had plenty of time. I just felt kind of awkward, like if I was to walk around with this camera, just kind of filming people without permission and being sketchy. But yeah, how did it go for me? It went really well. My group was my Cat 5 had its own start wave, so we were the last wave to go. It's like a 26-mile race or something. But the way the course runs on this event, it starts off like an easy mile, like a slight uphill mile, and then there are 2 climbs, pretty much like back to back, with a couple lumps right in the middle between those 2 climbs. So it's a hard beginning that pretty much separates the field right from the get-go. On the flat bit in the beginning with the lead-out car, was a lot faster than it has been in the last few years. Last few years, they keep a nice slow pace for the beginning, but it was fast right from the gun. So I was able to jump a few wheels because I started about mid-pack. But by the time we started the climb proper, I still felt a little boxed in. And there was a group of, I think like the first 6 or 8 were up the road, and there was a gap. There was already a gap. So I had to quickly jump a gap of already 20, 30 meters on the climb. I got to the back of that first group, and then there was one guy shot off the front like a rocket. I mean, this guy, not a kid, but a fit dude. You know, one of these guys who, at first glance, you wouldn't think this would be a guy that would shoot off the top, or shoot off the front, especially on a climb. You know, a little bit of a, not older guy, but probably my age, or maybe plus 7 years, I don't know. Like probably mid-40s guy, but clearly does his training, clearly fit. Shot right off like a rocket. He was gone. He was catching up to the wave 2 minutes in front of us within that first climb. I don't know. But anyway, the rest of us, the separation was happening, and there were 3 guys that were up the road, and again there was a gap, so I had to again jump a huge gap. And right about by the time we got to the top of the first climb, I had got up to a group of the 3 guys, and so I bridged that gap, and I was able to hold on to that group that you have for the descent, and then a little knoll, and then back up to the second climb, which is steeper and a little bit more in the wind. But by that time I had gotten on the wheel and I had gotten a few deep breaths, and I was able to just pretty much stay with that group. There was no one really attacked from that group at that point. It was almost as if, we had a sense that, that group was going to stick. I mean, it was fast. It was hard. It was a fast pace. The whole first lap was a fast pace, and my heart rate was high. I mean, it was a race. It was definitely a race, but it wasn't too much for me. And then the way it played out was the second lap, you come around, and we were pretty much all doing turns. I feel like myself and one other guy were doing a lot more than the other two. And honestly, I think my strategy was fine because I was doing a lot of pulls, and I found that to be comfortable because at least when I'm on the front, I'm doing my tempo, and I was able to manage the race, instead of let someone else go off the front and then have to, because I'm not used to holding wheels. I only ride by myself. So for me, that was a slightly, I know I was taking a lot of the wind, I was doing a lot of that, but I'm doing my own tempo, and those guys, yes, they're sitting on my wheel, so fine. All right, so maybe not the best strategy. Anyway, second lap, coming back north into a northerly wind, so coming into a headwind. It wasn't a windy day, but it was enough. It was probably 8-9 miles an hour, sunny day, but just enough headwind, and I pretty much was on the front that whole way, because no one would come by. I would pull off and I'd kind of motion, and they all just sat on my wheel. Everyone was already thinking about basically the finish, and the finish of this race is you go back up the first climb again, which it's not a long climb, it's probably half a mile with an average of about 7%, but towards the end it kicks up to 8, 9, 10% right at the very top. So the first half is probably like 5%, doesn't really feel much like a climb, and then it kicks up. Well, anyway, I felt like I was actually the strongest climber if it was a pure climb, but because it's short, and besides, the truth is, like, we weren't racing for first. If we were racing for first, if that was the first 4 guys, then I think I would have used a totally different tactic. I would have sat on as much as I could as well. I would have risked someone else coming up from behind and catching us. I would have had no problem with that. I would do that. But because first place was already up the road, maybe I'm making excuses, but I wasn't racing for second or third. If I was in the top 5, if I can stay with that group, then for me, that's just as good. So I did a lot of the work, and as soon as we turned the last corner on the foothills of the climb, basically, this one guy jumped, and I closed the gap, and then the other guy behind me closed the gap to me because I had gotten a gap as well. And then I sat up, and the guy it was really tactical. It was good. It was really good racing. Basically, though, by the time we came to the foot of the climb, we were all together still, but I had used pretty much one of my matches, and maybe just about the only match I had left, because I had done a lot of pulling, and I had used a pretty big match to pull his attack back. It was a big attack. I don't have pop, you know what I mean? I train well, and I've learned that I'm a strong guy. They were all saying, every time I did a pull, they're like, wow, strong pull, dude. It was a good group to work with. So I know that I've got good legs. I could have turned there. I'm a strong rider, but I lack punch. I lack high watts for short periods of time and recovery. So that's, if I'm going to train to get better, I've got to train that. I could get lighter, yeah, but I feel like I've got naturally an inclination towards a successful climbing style. Like I like steady state efforts. So anyway, lesson learned, but I'm actually really pleased. I was 5th, but still 5th is good. And the fact that I was in a group, and it was kind of like, we were pace lining, we were doing things that I don't get a chance to do very often. So super successful race for me. I'm pleased. Could it have gone better? Maybe. I never could have stayed with that guy up the front. That guy was a freak. Really good race, really fun day, beautiful day to be out. It was only about 50 or 55 degrees, I think, but because it was so sunny, it felt great. It didn't feel cold at all. Anyway, I'm going to shut this down. That's my race report. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.